do you use super to get super going, but then how do you set the first super that goes down the rabbit hole? Curious on adoption and onboarding of your own software, as its core mission is to solve the implementation and onboarding process.
That's meta.
Yeah. So it's a meta. It's a meta thought. Like the product's meta. So like, how do you get people to do it? So I'm gonna say three things to give it structure in some way, and ask follow-up questions. So thing number one is we said, okay, where's the most glaring? And so backstory before I get into it, I randomly met somebody named Steve Bussey. He built 80% of SalesLoft, and they had just been acquired by Vista, I think. It's a big PE firm. And so he was exiting out of that. He's looking for his next adventure. He had just started another app. He built this, by this way, this app he built, if you don't know what it is, called Clove, Customer Love. It is literally deal rooms. That's what it was. 3 years before deal rooms existed, like really. And he just didn't have a go-to-market. So he was looking for somebody to go to market with, because he can build anything. I get introduced and I was like, okay, I had these playbooks. And I need to, like, how do I operationalize that? Because we're thinking about doing like we thought we were going to do data migration and create little apps. He's like, man, y'all thinking way too small. He's like, you know what I want to build? I want to build a software that takes every Salesforce app and auto configures it so it works in a HubSpot. I was like, oh, you're thinking big, like real big. I was like, I didn't know that's possible. He's like, yeah, I got a sample testing. I built a few, like, I was like, what? He took this. And so we into this huge list of like, what is the mesh problems? And so we had playbooks. One of them kept being adoption. And he came. So I say that set the stage. So when we say 1, 2, 3 is the first thing is like, what's the most glaring problem that we can fix? And we had a go-to-market strategy. We're going to go to partners first, then we're going to end users. And we're going to fix all the adoption problems. I'd call them almost more, by the way, process compliance problems. So you need a methodology to enforce. And so that's the issue, Dex. It's like, you have to have a methodology to enforce. Yeah. So when we started what's the biggest issue? We're going to go to HubSpot. What's the biggest issue is everybody had these builds. Hey, because this is what I had playbooks. I had lifecycle builds and sales pipeline builds or workflow builds and whatever it is, right? But you had to rebuild them every single time. What is the first step of adoption? It's to freaking get to the stage of adoption. Mm-hmm. So one of them is, okay, how are we going to help people think about training first? It's to stop thinking about building first and standardizing, standardize so you can customize. So that was the first, standardize so you can customize. So we started going there and we built the first thing we called portal duplication in HubSpot. And that was where we started. I may say this like that's probably, if I look back, it got us to where we are, got us started. But the thing we're recovering from is that we're not a portal duplicator. It is not. Yeah. Do we help do that? Yes, but only to the end state of getting through to training and enablement inside your IT tools. So that's number one. Yeah. Number two, so we have this big thing is we're going to build so that you can, and we're going to do it internally, everything's supered on Supered. So Supered is a combination of like 5 tools. And we can all do that because Steve can build anything faster than most people can. He's like a 20x developer. So we built something like Scribe How, because you need to document processes and step-by-steps on your screen. And so we built that into Supered. Mm-hmm. We built a sequential task that we call action plans, which is what step-by-step onboarding that leads you to the correct place that can link, which it looks a lot like a deal room, right? Where you can like step-by-step practices, which is another tool. We have a knowledge document base because you must be able to search information you need, which is a guru. We did embedding where you can embed on on the screen so you can see it. And so there's all these things you have to do with adoption. And so we internally, we just said, what are we struggling with? And whatever we wanted to do next to get adoption of our own freaking processes, we built it into Super. So he's like, hey, Matt, how did you do it? Is we just use our tool, and anything we don't like or need next, we build next to get compliance, to have a methodology, and to comply and to get adoption of that methodology, period. That's what we do. Yeah. That's number 2. And number 3 is, I think this is important, is a great product, and y'all do a good job of this. The best product does not win. Is Super the best product? Maybe. Is Built Hapily the best product? Maybe. Best products don't win. The best go-to-market does. And sometimes the best go-to-market will create the best product because they get the fastest feedback loops. So we spent a lot of time in just creating a butt ton of content. And I only say that because that's part of our compliance and part of our methodology. And so how do we, when you see how super go to market, it's actually every net new person is not a 1+1. It is a multiplier. So you have one person and we now produce like 10 more pieces of content every week because of our methodology that we use internally with Super.
And I also want to say too, is you bring on these folks and you let them create content sort of in their own way where their personality really shines through, and they can build the stuff that they're really passionate about building when it comes to the content side of things. And I think that's a really, really hard thing to do. And
because it's not for everybody.
With every single person that joins your ranks. And it's pretty amazing, to be honest with you, that you're able to really enable these folks to do this kind of stuff from a content side of things. I just want to put that out there.
Well, Dex, Dex, you said it's hard. It's not for everyone. I'd say we have a point of view at Super, and if you don't want to produce content, then you can't work at Super. So there's like we put it in.
Not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Job.
So we had people come out of our sales cycle, and I say sales cycle, come out of our recruiting cycle. It's like, you mean I have to do? I'm like, yes. Like, not for me. Like,
I'm glad you know that
now.